Hey everybody, welcome. From the moonwalk to the iconic fedora, the legend of Michael Jackson has transcended borders and touched lives across the globe. And right here in St. Louis, the impact of his music resonates deeply. Now, imagine experiencing the magic of Michael Jackson's Dangerous Tour behind the scenes, brought to life on stage in a Tony Award-winning musical. Well, you can do just that when MJ the Musical hits the Fox Theater later this month. Here's a preview.
Something, you got to be starting something. I said you wanna be starting something. You got to be starting something. Lift your head up high, scream out to the world. I know I am someone that's the truth about. No one can hurt you now because you know it's true. 'Cause I believe in me, so you believe in you. Help me sing
The music, the moves, the musical. Who better to give us an exclusive peek of this spectacular production than one of its shining stars? Please welcome the talented Josh A. Dawson. Josh, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, my friend. Cheers.
I saw this play in New York on Broadway, and the energy and excitement surrounding this production are simply electric. While the play is about the Dangerous Tour, it does take us through the legacy of MJ, which is why you have the dual roles in the play. Tell us about that.
Yes. So I'll start with Quincy Jones. Quincy was really instrumental in helping Michael Jackson step into his solo career. He helped him with his first album, Off the Wall, second album, Thriller, and then the third album, Bad. And the budding of these two geniuses produced arguably some of the best albums of all time, certainly Thriller, which is the most selling album of all time still to date. And Quincy Jones was sort of a mentor to Michael Jackson. One could argue that he wouldn't have received that footing. I mean, just the insight that Quincy Jones could pull in from, Quincy's background, he played trumpet for Miles Davis and Duke Ellington and sort of found his solo footing. He moved to Europe and studied string arrangements with a Caucasian Russian lady and came back and wrote some of the best string arrangements, some of the most iconic string arrangements for Michael Jackson's album. And to be able to pull in that life experience, I think with an older gentleman, Michael sort of needed that. He didn't have that growing up, and it's sort of a pleasure. And then with Tito, it's just, Tito was the music man of the family. And so Michael didn't play any instruments. And so when they were in Jackson 5, he was the one sort of making the charts and arranging the music. And so I'm a musician myself. So to be able to play these two roles is kind of serendipitous. It's very fitting and aligned with who I am, where I am in my season, my journey, and felt really lucky, man.
A musician in the sense that you also play instruments in addition to singing.
Yes, yeah.
What do you play?
In the show, I play guitar, piano, organ, drums. I grew up playing in my dad's church, and I was a music director for a band for a very, very long time, actually up until about 6 months ago. So it's kind of a dual life of mine. And to be able to play this role right now, like I said, it's very aligned because I'm actually moving to Europe as soon as this tour is done.
Yeah.
So it works out.
And it's interesting that you're playing both Quincy and Tito, because you go to this soft-spoken Tito Jackson and then this creative genius that Quincy is. And by the way, Quincy has worked, you can't understate his legacy, right? He's worked with everybody from Ella Fitzgerald to Frank Sinatra to, his own albums that featured artists today like Tamia and Tevin Campbell. Just a wide range. We won't even talk about Thriller and Off the Wall, So, but it's very interesting that you go between the two. Was that pretty challenging?
It wasn't. It's sort of split up where I can do one in the first act and then the other in the second act. Some trickled in and sprinkled in, but it was fairly easy for me. This specific role, or these two roles, I actually helped build for the Broadway show. Worked on all the workshops and the labs, and so I've been working on this role for a number of years. So it feels, like I said, it feels aligned to my life right now, and just sort of my journey. It's my first time in my Broadway stage career that I got to build a role that is sort of mine. So it kind of feels like I'm being myself out on stage. It's a really wonderful and unique experience for an actor.
Awesome. The musical has won 4 Tonys, including one for Best Choreography. How much rehearsal goes into something like this to get it right?
Sure. So we started rehearsing last June, and the show was built. Obviously, we worked on the labs for about 3 years, and then they opened on Broadway. Um, we rehearsed from early June, I think about 5 weeks. If you include the tech weeks, which is a sort of getting on stage with costumes, with makeup, sort of working out the kinks, it was about 7 weeks in total.
This is your 5th national tour. What do you appreciate most about this particular musical?
Well, it's a unique experience to be on the road right now and seeing America post COVID. I think the people are just so desperate for, whether it's 3 hours or 30 seconds, just desperate for a time where they can escape the politics, the division. And I like to think that we provide that space. It's one thing that Quincy Jones said. It's like there are no genres. There's only good music and bad music. And it's sort of a common denominator in all of our species. Everyone loves music, whether it's rock, whether it's country, whether it's pop, gospel. Everyone has a connection to music. And so to be able to embody the life of arguably the greatest showman of all time, certainly greatest pop star, to be able to give people that for 3 hours, it feels like a blessing. It's an election year. People just need a mode of escapism.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it was 40 years ago that Michael won the 8 Grammy Awards for Thriller. Isn't that it's interesting? You know? Yeah, it was 1984. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad
and
to
I,
talk to you today.
I imagine you were a huge fan of Michael's before this. What's your favorite part of this play?
I would say, aside from playing Quincy Jones, who is an icon of mine, I think just it's not necessarily what I do on stage, but just the life that this sort of tour, this sort of artistic endeavor requires of an artist. Because Michael was so excellent in everything that he did, it just requires us as actors, as performers, as artists to sort of step up to that plate. From how I go to sleep at night, from how I wake up in the morning, my meditation time, my journaling time, everything is so strategic to make sure that for those 3 hours, I am excellence. And that's what I love about this show. It requires that from the artist.
What can you tell us about your solo?
About my solo?
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much of the play away, but I think kind of along the lines of what I was saying before, the connection of Quincy Jones to Michael was not just that he was a mentor or a father figure, but he was an accountability partner. He was that, when stuff hits the fan, run to me because I'm going to be a point of refuge. And in the show, the song that I sing, it is just a testament to that, and an encouragement to keep the faith. And I'll leave you with that.
Can you tell me who you're singing as? Are you singing as Tito or are you singing as, I assume you're singing as Quincy, right? But neither one of these characters in real life really sing, right? I mean, solo-wise.
I mean, it's the world of musical theater, right? It's the happy medium of realism meets theatricality. And so to be able to...
Well, no doubt they can't sing like you, Josh.
Certainly not. Certainly not. Yeah, it's the ability to be able to just embody emotions through my voice, I think is the most important thing. Like you said, both of these two people were not singers. Um, and that's where the character meets Josh Dawson.
I can't wait to see you and the cast thrill the audience here. What else do you want to tell us about what people can expect when they come to see this?
Sure. I think outside of just iconic music and some Tony Award winning choreography and an amazing book written by a Pulitzer winning playwright, I think what this show, you get to see a little bit of Michael's humanity. So much of who he was as a human being got poured into his artistry, and so much of what he wanted to accomplish with his artistry was just connecting all of us, allowing for more compassion, more empathy. And I think because he just tried to love and put out love as much as humanly possible, I think that's what people are going to take away from this story. And I think the time calls for that. It calls for people to see celebrities, to see famous humans as humans first. Yes, they have a lot of money. Yes, they have a lot of fame, a lot of fortune, a lot of luck. But I think the common denominator is that they still have blood, they still have bones, they still have trauma. They have experiences that connect all of us. And I think that's what people are going to see. The man behind the artistry. Just glimpses, but certainly some honest, authentic moments.
Having seen it, you'll get no argument from me, my friend. Well, don't miss your chance to witness the magic of MJ the Musical. It kicks off May 28th and runs through June 9th at the fabulous Fox Theater. Josh, thank you again for joining us. Go out there and break a leg. We wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Can't wait to see you all. Cheers.
I'm Tim Lampley for STL TV. We'll see you next time.